Hi guys, this is Noiser with another episode of Equipped, the series where I share my preferred loadouts and playstyles for different operators. Hopefully you can find something that you can use to improve your game in Rainbow Six Siege. Today we are going to take a closer look at the Jackal, the attacker from the Spanish GEO that was added in the Velvet Shell DLC. Jackal was brought in to make it a bit harder for the roamers to roam free, and although he hasn't had that much of an impact of that in my opinion, he's still a quite interesting and fun operator to play. But before we dig further into that, let's take a look at his loadout. Jackal is a medium speed, medium armor operator with an Inox to track enemies by scanning their footprints, which we will get back to. He can choose between three primary weapons, the C7E assault rifle, the PW9 submachine gun, and the ITA-12L pump-action shotgun. The shotgun performs quite similar to the GIGN shotguns, although it actually doesn't feel nearly as effective as those. The assault rifle was a bit too easy to use at first and has now received a recoil nerf that makes it harder to control. I always go with the PDW9 though, as this just feels like a magnet for consistent headshots. Sure, the damage is on the lower side compared to assault rifles, but with an ACOG, a 50-round magazine and very little recoil, this gun is too easy and too much fun to use to be ignored, no matter the damage. I wouldn't even be surprised if they actually nerf it in the future, but I guess that won't happen unless his pick rates gets higher. I equipped this with an ACOG and flash hider, as that feels slightly better for longer bursts than the muzzle brake. Although the difference is small, that is how it should be anyway. The compensator is actually a really good choice also, as this gun is so easy to control, but full auto with an ACOG is still not viable on console, at least in my opinion, so I'll always try to burst fire. For the secondary, you have the choice between the USP-40 handgun and the ITA-12S, which is a short version of his primary shotgun. I go with the shotgun as it is both a great tool for breaching hatches and making kill holes, as well as quite effective in those intense close-up situations. Jackal can equip either breaching charges or stun grenades at the moment of making this video. These will however be switched out for smoke grenades in the 2.2.1 patch, which I personally feel is a huge nerf for Jackal, but this is probably to make him more useful together with glass, I guess. Which gadgets you pick of course depends on what your team brings to the table, as it's so situational what you actually will need while in-game. You might end up the last survivor and need to get rid of a castle barricade, or smoke grenades is what you wished for, as you need to get past a kill hole or whatever. So just bring what you find is best to support your team. When you activate Jackal's Inox, you can see and scan footprints from enemies that are less than 1.5 minutes old. After that, the footprints are invisible. Depending on the color of the footprints, you can determine how recently they were made, as they gradually shift from red to yellow, green and finally blue before they disappear. When scanned, you will see which operator you're tracking and a pin on their location at the moment they get scanned. The scan will repeat every 10 seconds with a new ping showing the last known location for the defender, for a total of 4 times, which means 40 seconds. You get 3 scans per game, but you will always be able to see footprints, even if you're out of scans. I would recommend to turn the visor on and off depending on situation, as it will get distorted when you're taking fire and will jam totally close to a mute jammer. So personally, I try to think about this. This gadget sort of is a double-edged sword, because I've shot my share of Jackals running around looking at the floor instead of being aware of their surroundings, and this is why I think Jackal is actually really hard to play right. Sure, you can be a fantastic addition to your team, as ping defenders will be seen by your entire team, but the problem is that if you're too focused on actually making good use of your gadget, as I think should be the focus of most operators, you really need to move together with at least one teammate to be most effective. Or be very comfortable with how and when to use your gadget and when to act as any other operator. You can potentially give the roamers a nightmare and help your team to pull off easy wall bangs as well, so Jackal is a nice addition to your team but requires a lot of practice to play well, at least in my opinion. I don't see that many Jackals in-game, as many other operators are picked before him, and this is both a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that it's an opportunity for those of you that want to play Jackal a lot. No, not only as he's often available, but because many defenders don't take the threat that serious, at least when they're on the objective, and I'll get back to that shortly. Sure, when roamers get notified that he's being tracked, as they will be when you track them, similar to when they're spotted by a camera or something, they will probably start moving around and make themselves a hard target to find. This alone is a benefit for the attackers though, as it's quite a disturbance for the roamer, especially the inexperienced one, to know that they're being tracked. A disturbance that makes it harder to do the job as a roamer effectively. When it comes to the defenders on the objective, my feeling is that many of them don't care so much about being tracked while in a reinforced room, which makes them a perfect target for wall banging from above or below, if you actually could call that wall banging. Having a buck or ash below a destructible floor on the objective and then scanning footprints through a drone hole or outside the objective room is a perfect way to score some free kills, I guess. I haven't really put this into good use yet, as I've just started playing Jackal, but it could be a pretty decent tactic. So, to sum this up, when playing Jackal, I go with the PDW-9 and the ITA-12S as secondary, and I try to play him as any other attacking operator when on my own, although switching back and forth between the visor and regular view to see if there are scannable footprints around. I would, however, recommend you trying to team up with a friend and actually do some hunting with him to see how that works for you, especially if you're new to the game or even new to Jackal. In my opinion, it's quite easy to lose some situational awareness when looking for and scanning footprints, so one simple rule is to think of scanning as a reload. Try to get in some sort of cover if possible, or at least close to cover before you scan. A bit of better positioning can save your life if there's a roamer baiting you. So that's about it for today, guys. What are your thoughts on Jackal and how do you like to play him? Do you perhaps have any tips or tricks of your own you would like to share? Or did I miss anything in this guide that you would like to add? Share your thoughts by leaving a comment below and give me a thumbs up or down so I get to know what you thought about this video. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it so you'll get notified when I post. I'll be back soon again with some more Rainbow Six Siege content, and until then, I will keep being Noiser. Hej då!